Oh man, what a disaster of a week. Um, Welcome to the Summit Lab podcast. This is a place where I explore ideas about photography, creativity, family, and the long road of trying to build something meaningful. I'm Chris, and this is the Summit Lab. And what a disaster of a week it was. Um, It's time check 12:10 a.m. here. As usual, I've got myself a latte tonight though. I decided to make to just reminisce about the week. Um, oh, that's good. I just got this like Nespresso machine and it's really good. Like it's not the best coffee on the planet, but it is good enough to just drink pretty much all day long. Um, Last week's experiment was chasing light, and I was incredibly excited to go do this experiment. I was very nervous about it because I knew it would be hard, but I was very excited about it. I had these big visions of kind of street photography style shots where you're using light to build frames around subjects and just create really interesting compositions and using shadow to hide things. And I just had these big aspirations, and I just fell flat. Like it was it was a tough week. It was a long week. We had a ton of baseball. The kids had games back to back to back to back. If one kid wasn't playing one night, the other kid was. And so literally Monday through Thursday, we had baseball. It's Friday right now. It was the only day we didn't have baseball this week. We got a couple games this weekend, which I love. I love going to the baseball games. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. But what I really found myself struggling with was time to go create photos. And especially after last week. Like last week, I got out, I went and explored, I made a lot of progress. I felt fantastic last week. And so going into this week, I was excited about it and I just wanted to continue that momentum. And the problem with this week was just everything was rushed. I was always rushed. I was either rushing before one of my kids' games to go out into the little nature preserve that they have and try and find something. Um, or like tonight, it was just busy and we had some family come over. And so I literally went to go check the mail across the street and I had to find something. I had to find something, and that's what it's been basically all week. Is just these little slivers of like 20 minutes or something where I'm either at my house or at my kid's baseball game, just trying to find something to. And not only is it to do the experiment, which I want to do, but it's also keeping this streak of creating an image every day going. I'm loving that. It's forcing me to create, and I've gotten some cool images out of it. Um, but again, this week I wasn't real happy with anything, and truly like going into this, I wasn't that wasn't the goal for this. The goal wasn't to go create amazing images every single day. Like I know there's going to be tough days, but it just felt like this week was just extra tough. Like I don't think that there was one image that I created this week where I was like, "Oh, that's good. Good image. Good image there, Chris." None of that. Uh yeah, none of, I'm just looking. It's just all crap. Um is what it is though. Here, so let's talk about the good stuff. What I did that I was proud of this week is when I was out like walking the dog or even out in those moments that I was just describing, I was looking for light specifically. I was truly chasing light. I was looking at how light was playing off of subjects. I was looking at reflected light. I was looking at shadows. I was definitely studying light and trying to find something that stood out to me that I could photograph. Now, the hard part was finding light in a composition where you could make it the star. That was tough. What was easy was finding shadows. Like finding shadows and just photographing shadows was pretty easy. And that's mostly what I did. Is you could it was so much easier to locate shadows and find something that was semi interesting rather than like finding a way to make light the star of the show. Now, there were times where I saw like light on a leaf, or when I was walking the dog, where I was like, oh, that's beautiful light, or light on grasses. I found that a lot, like beautiful soft light on grasses. But it didn't I couldn't figure out a way to make it like the star of the show. It's just a photograph of grass at the end of the day. And yeah, it's beautiful light. And yeah, you can make that pretty. But it just didn't, that's not what I was looking for. That felt too easy. I wanted to find something more challenging. And I just could never connect the dots this week on how to do that. And it was frustrating. Honestly, it was frustrating. I didn't even want to do this tonight. I truly didn't want to do this tonight. And all I could think of is you just got to show up. And so here I am. I've got my coffee and I'm crying here. I'm crying here with you. Uh, anyways, you're gonna have your struggles. I know I was gonna have some struggles. I was almost semi embarrassed to post some of the images this week because I'm like, this just isn't good. Like going through the photos at night and going through Lightroom and trying to choose one to post. I'm just like, I am not even remotely proud of any of these. Um, but again, I am happy with the way I was looking at things. That was progress. The way I was looking at light, even some of the shadows I found. Like I took one photo this week that I posted where there was like a raspberry bush, and I just saw a leaf that had beautiful light on it, and then I noticed a shadow of like the thorn vines like above it, casting a shadow on the leaf, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, but I just didn't have time to compose it the way I wanted. I had the dog with me, and there was another dog coming, and I knew that she was just going to want to play, and so I kind of rushed the shot and just got out of there. Um, and so again, that's what I learned this week is like I just need to take the time to do a better job and make the time to do a better job, whether that be waking up earlier or staying out later or whatever it may be. I got to figure it out. Um, so that being said, I'm gonna do this again next week. I'm not gonna let this one slip. It is, again. I know it's gonna be hard, um, but I want to figure it out. Uh, I was so um, I was so kind of miserable this week about the whole thing. I was thinking like, how can I spark my creativity? Like, what can I do better? And I wanted to find like a smaller lens, because the lens that I had on the Sony was, it was like it was big. It was like it went out like this far on this thing. And so I found this lens, and I actually just got it today. It's still a 35 millimeter lens, but it's 2.8 in aperture instead of 1.8. And for everybody who doesn't know what that means, it just means that this doesn't let in as much light. It can't make, uh, it can't photograph like the really blurry backgrounds as well as the other lens could. It's definitely not going to be as sharp in quality as the other lens was, but it's like half the size. And I'm like, I'm going to try it. So it'll make it easier to even carry. The other one wasn't hard to carry, but I'm just going to give this a try. Just trying to spark some creativity. Just, I don't know, anything. Um, so I'm going to give that a shot. But again, goal this week is going to be chasing light and just making light more of the star. I actually have a book that I've been looking at. Back in the day, there used to be this. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Google used to have a social media platform. They called it Google Plus, and it died. It was not great, but it had a really great photographer community. And I used to spend a lot of time there, and I used to post a lot of images there, and I got to meet a lot of the photographers that through Google Plus. And every year they would create this photo book where everybody could submit their photos, and they'd pick the best ones and they'd put them into this book, and they called it like Our World or something like that. And so I've been looking through that recently, just literally over the past few days, just to look for inspiration about how I can do this whole light thing. And I've noticed what I've found is like there's definitely those street photography shots that do the framing with light and shadows and putting a subject in it, like all the things that I know I could do, but I'm trying to do this a different way, like around more like nature stuff, um, and I just got to take the time to do it. But anyways, what I found in that book is I noticed some images using light on subjects where it did feel like light was the star of the show, even if it was photographing a tree or just a building. There was a way that the photographer either just photographed it or edited it that made it look like the light was really the star of the show. So I'm just trying to figure that out. One other thing that I struggled with this week, and that I really started looking for a way out, if you will, is with this 35 millimeter lens. Um, 35 millimeters is very hard for me. Like I feel like if I can photograph with this lens, I'll be able to make any lens create interesting images. Like this 35 millimeter is a true challenge. The composition, like I've been, if any of you are following me on Instagram, you probably see like a lot of the shots I've been taking are like close up shots of plants and trees and branches and things like that. It's because it's so easy to make things look interesting when you're up close. But the 35 millimeter makes it hard to figure that out. Like you can certainly do that, but it shows so much outside of the frame, and so, or outside of the main subject, unless you get like right up on it. And it, it's just a very challenging lens to shoot with. And so I'm sticking with it. I'm staying with 35 millimeters. I'm not giving up yet. Um, all right. That's all I got. It was a tough week. I'm going to leave this at that. I'm doing Chasing Light again next week. Thanks for not unfollowing me with all those horrible photos this week. I'm going to try and do better next week. So that's all. Thank you. I'm going to go finish my coffee and probably go edit this, and then I got to go to bed. This is the Summit Lab podcast, experimenting creativity, storytelling, and building a meaningful life. Thank you.